something wrong happened. Secondly, may peace be upon our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided us into the right ways of life. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Widya Noviana Nur as a lecturer of UINSI Samarinda and as the Master of Ceremony will guide this national webinar. Let's open this event by saying Basmalah. Bismillah. Singing the national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen, opening ceremony by praying, delivered by Ustadz Syarifatur Rahmatullah MPD, lecture from UINSI Samarinda. To Ustadz Syarifatur Rahmatullah MPD, the time is yours. Ustadz Syarifatur Rahmatullah. Okay, Ustadz Syarifatur Rahmatullah, the time is yours. Okay. Something trouble from Ustaz Syarifatul Rahmatullah. The next agenda is report of the committee will be delivered by Ms. Husnul Khatimah, MPD. To Ms. Husnul Khatimah, MPD, lecture from Universitas Muhammadiyah, Kalimantan Timur. The time is yours.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Vice President of TEFLIN, Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah Kalimantan Timur, Rector of Universitas Sultan Haji Muhammad Idris Samarinda, Director of Universitas Kutai Kartanegara, the Honorable, the distinguished speakers, and ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. First of all, I'd like to thank Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given us all the blessing of health and the pleasure of knowledge. Don't forget salawat and salam to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam who has shown us all the best way in life. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to speak to you this morning, to welcome you most cordially at the official opening of national webinar with the theme, Bridging Theories, Practice, and Technology in ELT, organized by the Association for the Teaching English as a Foreign Language in Indonesia, TEFLIN, in collaboration with 3 universities, Universitas Muhammadiyah Kalimantan Timur, Universitas Islam Negeri Sultan Haji Muhammad Idris, and Universitas Kutai Kartanegara. Next, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Rector of UMKT, Rector of UINSI, and Rector of Unikarta, who have given their support to the committee so that this activity can be carried out. I'd like also to express my gratitude to all the speakers who have been willing to accept our invitation to share knowledge and experience about how to bridge theories, practice, and technology in ELT. And of course, this will be a valuable experience for all participants. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the steering committee, I'd like to express my thanks to TEFLIN member for hosting this. And then before concluding, I'd like to convey my appreciation to the committee for their time and support in contributing to this seminar, as well as my colleagues in this secretariat for the organization of this event. I thank you all, the participants, most warmly for your participation and wish you all success with this seminar. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The next agenda is welcoming speech by Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah Kalimantan Timur to Professor Dr. Bambang Setiaji. The time is yours.
Thank you, Widya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajmain. Amma ba'du. Excellency Professor Dr. Muhammad Zaim, Vice President of TEFLIN, Honorable Mr. Professor Dr. Muhammad Yasin, Rector of UINSI, Honorable Professor Dr. Ince Raden, MP, Rector of Universitas Kutai Kartanegara, all of speaker, committee, all audience. As a host, I am very happy with you all this morning, a very valuable seminar with the very good topic, bridging the theory, practice and technology. I remember before, if staff propose a budget or join in TEFLIN, sometimes I reject or refuse because of limited budget. Now with technology, especially the growing of distance learning technology, especially Zoom, almost without cost, or staff, even student can participate in the TEFLIN. So we hope that this forum in the future will growing up. English is still important language, yeah, because research, expand research, many expand research doing in the English speaking countries. So if we scientists, student would like to follow the development of science and technology, English should be mastering. Yeah, English should be medium of scientific communication. So even now Mandarin growing up also because of the growing up of China as industry and also military country, superpower. But English still dominate the research, especially basic research. So in the future, I think English still the domination in the scientific worlds. So once again, thank you very much for your coming. You join in the seminar. WMKT and leaders of WMKT is very happy with the seminar and will support the TEFLIN forum in the future. I would like to apologize if something went wrong or something mistake. I receive you all. Once again, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Dr. Bambang Setiaji, for the speech. The next agenda is welcoming speech by Vice Rector of State Islamic University, Sultan Haji Muhammad Idris Samarinda, to Professor Dr. Muhammad Nasir MAG. Time is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Hamdan syakirin, hamdan na'imin, hamdan yuwafi ni'amahu wa yukafi mazidah. Assalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man tabi'ahu bi ihsanin ila yaumil. Qalu subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim wa rabbi zidna ilman nafi'a warzuqna fahma wasi'a ya fattahu ya alim. Excellency President of TEFLIN, Professor Dr. Zaim, Venerable Rector Universitas Muhammadiyah Kalimantan Timur, Professor Dr. Bambang Setiaji, and Venerable Rector Unikarta, Professor Ince, Vice Rector 1 UINSI Samarinda. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me in this opportunity to welcome all of this webinar speaker and participants by first Pine of Creative Enterprise to their Mexican for all his blessing great and mercies that have made us possible to gather here in this room in excellent condition and health. First of all, with graduating pride English Language Education Department of UIN Samarinda in collaboration with the TEFLIN present a webinar for English teacher under the theme Bridging Theories, Practices, and Technology in LT. It is part of English language teaching. Hopefully, all can significantly give more contribution for our education, especially for UIN Samarinda to become university, a good university governance, and to become university globally recognized university. Example, increase social economic impact, will become both destination of Islamic countries, civil society, and etc. Happily, all to all for our distinguished guests and participants, thank you for you being here. Welcome and enjoy this the webinar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Dr. Muhammad Nasir MAG, for the speech. And the next agenda is welcoming speech by Rector of Universitas Kutai Kartanegara to Professor Dr. Ince Raden MP. Time is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wa bihi nasta'in ala umurud dunya waddin. Assalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin. Sayyidina wa maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain amma ba'd. Good morning. I appreciate your time and effort in following up on our national webinar today under the theme Bridging Theories, Practices, and Technology in ELT. First and foremost, thank you for the opportunity given to me to deliver a speech in front of you all. It is a tremendous honor for me. Second, let me send my honor greetings to the Honorable Vice President of TEFLIN, Bapak Profesor Dr. M. Zain and Hum, the Honorable the Head of TEFLIN Kaltim, Bapak Sudarman SPD MED, and Honorable Rector of UMKT, Bapak Profesor Dr. Bambang Setiaji, the Honorable Vice Rector 1 of UINSI Samarinda, Bapak Profesor Dr. Muhammad Nasir MAG, the Honorable Head of the Committee, Ibu Husnul Khotimah MPD from UMKT, the Excellency Keynote Speaker, Ibu Dr. Nur Arifah Drajati MPD from TEFLIN Board, the Excellency Speaker 1, Bapak Ibrahim SPD, Master of Teaching English for Speaker of Other Language, the Excellency Speaker 2, Ibu Dina Destari MPD from UINSI Samarinda, and the Excellency Speaker 3, Ibu Sri Utami SPD MPD from University of Kutai Kartanegara Tenggarong. MC, moderator, the committee, and all the participants, including teachers, lecturers, and students in this event. Third, let us thank Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for providing us with health, time, and air together virtually in this beautiful occasion. Salawat dan salam are also mentioned in praise of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and his followers. Ladies and gentlemen, for your information, this event is a manifestation of the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding and Agreement between TEFLIN and Kutai Kartanegara University under English Education Study Program. And I, as rector, I am grateful and proud to be a part of today's event. In addition, this event today is proudly presented in collaboration with 3 universities in Kaltim. They are Unikarta itself, UMKT, and UINSI Samarinda. This is a priceless time, and I do hope that similar event will follow us a form of collaboration like today. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, this era is no longer about competition, but more about collaboration. As an African prophet stated, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Consequently, if you want to go fast and far, go together and stronger. Ladies and gentlemen, many similar events have been organized for teachers. But this one is exceptional because the speakers are expert in both English and education. So please pay attention and actively participate. I hope that this event will provide you with new information and insight for your teaching career. Give you plenty of ideas for making your classroom more interactive. That is all I have to say. Have fun learning, and please accept my apology for any unintentional error I may have made. My special appreciation goes to the committee, and thank you for your hard work. See you at the other events. Good morning. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Dr. Ince Raden MP for the speech. And the next is welcoming speech by Vice President TEFLIN, Professor Dr. Muhammad Zain M. Hum. The time is yours.
Thank you, Bu Nurul Bu Widya ya, Widya Noviana. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa la syarikalah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu la nabiyya ba'da. Your Excellency, Director of Universitas Muhammadiyah Kalimantan Timur, Professor Dr. Bambang Setiadi, Honorable the Vice Rector of Universitas Islam Negeri Sultan Haji Muhammad Idris Samarinda, Professor Dr. Muhammad Nasir, Honorable the Rector of Universitas Kutai Kartanegara, Professor Dr. Ince Raden, Honorable the keynote speaker, Ibu Dr. Nur Arifah Derajati from TEFLIN Board member, Honorable Professor Ali Saukah, MA PhD, that has been here as the speaker in the workshop session, Bapak Ibrahim, Ibu Dina Lestari, Bu Sri Utami, and also Pak Sudarman and Bu Husnul Fatimah as the chair of committee, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let's say Alhamdulillah to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us blessing and help so that we can attend the national seminar on English language teaching this morning. As the Vice President of TEFLIN, teaching English as a foreign language in Indonesia, I am pleased to welcome you all to the national seminar on English language teaching, and will be continued by a national workshop on academic publication through teachers' research organized by TEFLIN East Kalimantan chapter. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude and appreciation to the 3 rectors of 3 universities in East Kalimantan, Universitas Muhammadiyah Kalimantan Timur, Sultan Haji Muhammad Idris Samarinda, and Universitas Kutai Kartanegara, their support to the seminar and workshop held by TEFLIN East Kalimantan chapter. The theme of this national seminar is Bridging Theories, Practices, and Technology in English Language Teaching. And also for the national workshop with the theme Boosting Teachers' Academic Publications through Teachers' Research, which I believe is very relevant to the national seminar and national workshop objective. Ladies and gentlemen, today we live in a world where technology is everywhere. Our daily activity cannot be imagined without the use of computer and smart devices in our private and professional life. The use of the information technology in teaching English cannot be postponed anymore because technology has been around us for a long time. With the development of ICT, a vast number of educational platforms and software that can be used in education have been created. Technology in the classroom is present today within the educational center. Using technology in language learning has become the perfect complement in reaching proficiency and fluency. Therefore, English courses accompanied by technological support are the most effective and attractive for students who want to be successful in their learnings. Even for students who are spending time on their computers playing video games, using computer during the lesson will attract their attention and they will try to be successful and compete with the others. Ladies and gentlemen, the use of technology in English teaching can contribute to improving language skill, such as developing reading and writing abilities, developing listening and speaking abilities, supporting student collaboration, their activity, and including individual learnings. Educational technology has helped teachers today to motivate their students more than ever when presenting any material in the classroom. Ladies and gentlemen, there are blessings that we can take from the COVID-19 pandemic. In the past, what was said to be learned was at school, but nowadays we can take school lesson anywhere and anytime. Most teachers and lecturers are now familiar with various platforms to facilitate online learning. We call this blessing in disguise. Ladies and gentlemen, even though online learning technology is getting more sophisticated, the role of the teacher cannot be ignored. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of things that a teacher can do and a computer cannot, which is another proof that it is not possible for a computer to take the place of English teacher in the classroom. A huge percentage of teachers and students think that a teacher cannot be replaced by a computer. However, English teacher of today should be ready to provide the student with the opportunity to learn by using technology and show them that computer and smartphone are not created only for playing game and spending time on social media. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the speakers for their willingness to share knowledge, experience, and expertise in the field of English language teaching. They are Ibu Dr. Nur Arifah Derajati MPD, Bapak Ibrahim, Master of TESOL, Udina Lestari SS MPD, and Ibu Sri Utami SPD MPD, and also Prof. Ali Saukah PhD as the speaker in the workshop session tomorrow. I would also like to offer a special word of thanks to the rector from 3 universities in East Kalimantan for working together with TEFLIN, especially in the organization of these academic activities in the form of seminar and workshop. Last but not least, allow me to express my highest appreciation to all the participants who are taking part in this national seminar and without whom the seminar would not be possible. Finally, by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, the national seminar with the theme Bridging Theories, Practices, and Technology in English Language Teaching is officially open. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a very successful seminar and wonderful time learning from one another. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Dr. Muhammad Zaim M. Hum, for the speech. Ladies and gentlemen, opening by praying delivered by Ustadz Syarifatur Rahmatullah MPD, lecture from UINSI Samarinda. To Ustadz Syarifatur Rahmatullah, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you for this video. Before we continue this event, let's pray together. Al-Fatiha. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم أجمعين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا. اللهم زدنا علما وارزقنا فهما. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما. اللهم ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Ustadz Syarifatur Rahmatullah, for praying. And now, finally, we come to the end of this opening ceremony. To close this event, let's reciting Hamdalah. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Well, I am Widya Noviana Nur as a Master of Ceremony. Thank you so much for kind attention, and we ask our deep apologize if you find some mistakes and unwilling word in my speech. May God bless us all with good health and make this event a successful and enjoyable one. Okay, now I would like to introducing about TEFLIN. Before introducing about TEFLIN, I will take a picture. Please, all participants, open video camera and use background. Okay, first slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, slide 2, next. 1, 2, 3. The third slide. Okay, 1, 2, 3. The fourth slide. Okay, 1, 2, 3. The next. Okay, 1, 2, 3. The last. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And the next is I will like introduce about TEFLIN before I give this seminar to moderator. Seluruh peserta bisa mendaftarkan atau registrasi untuk menjadi salah satu anggota dari TEFLIN. Ada Instagram TEFLIN, nanti akan ditaruh di kolom chat Instagram, dan untuk registrasi keanggotaan TEFLIN nanti ada di kolom chat, akan di-share oleh panitia. Dan sebelum saya serahkan ke moderator, saya akan memperkenalkan sedikit tentang moderator kita hari ini yang begitu luar biasa, Mr. Abdul Halim. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here. How are you, Bu Widya?
Okay, I'm fine, good. Okay, Mr. Abdul Halim tinggal di Jalan Slamet Riyadi, Gang Manunggal, nomor 19. Pengalaman pekerjaan beliau English teacher, ILC Education Samarinda, English teacher di British Institute Malang, and now lecturer di Universitas Muhammadiyah Kalimantan Timur Samarinda. Untuk background kualifikasi education beliau di Universitas Warman Samarinda and Magister University Negeri Malang, and PhD di National Donghua University Taiwan. Gitu ya, Mr. Abdul Halim?
Yes.
Okay, now thank you so much, and I give the moderator to Mr. Abdul Halim. Time is.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Widya. A very fine introduction for me as a moderator for today. Yes. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to take over the event for today. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to have some speakers who will be delivering their presentations about several issues, especially with the topic about bridging theories, practices, and technology in ELT, right? So first of all, I'd like to introduce you about the first speaker who will be delivering the presentation with the topics of understanding students towards the use of English, who will be delivered by the first speaker. He is Mr. Ibrahim M. Tisol, Masters of English, teaching English to speakers of the language, which I will be reading his CV first. So at least we know a little about him. First of all, he graduated from University of Muhammadiyah Malang, Indonesia in 2013, BA in English Language Education. And then in 2018, still fresh, he graduated from Monash University, Australia, Master of TESOL. Right, so without further ado, I'd like to invite him, Mr. Ibrahim. Good morning, Mr. Ibrahim.
Good morning, Pak Ade. How are you, Pak Ade?
Mr.
No, sorry, Pak Ade. Sorry.
All right. How are you, Mr. Ibrahim?
I'm really good, thank you. And what about you?
I'm good, I'm good. Okay, so I have introduced you to the participants. Now I'd like to invite you to present the topic which you will be delivered today.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Halim, for the introductions. Okay, Bear with me, I would like to share the materials. Okay. Sorry. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, Rabbi Shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. So first of all, I would like to say thank you for the nice introductions from Pak Halim. Sorry, I mentioned the wrong name, yeah, for you. And first of all, I would like also to thank for TEFLIN and also for the committee for this awesome opportunity for me to share on the little experience in my recent collaborating with my final year students. And first of all, I would like also thank you for the president of TEFLIN and also for 3 chancellor or rector from 3 host universities, UINSI, UMKT, as well as Unikarta. So here, I would like to present, it's basically quite simple research, but I hope that it's going to be very crucial if we understand about this and we found out, investigate about this topic. And why I say this simple, because we can, we realize it happens every single day in our daily life. So the title is Perceptions What the Use of Hybrid Learning Setting in English Language Learning. Sorry for the moderator, I changed a bit about the title. So it's an honor for me to present it in TEFLIN Conference 2022, Bridging Theories, Practice, and Technology in LT. Okay, without further ado, I'd like to explain about the background why I think it's very crucial. It's very important for us to know about this topic, what I carry. Yeah. Okay. Dear ladies and gentlemen, it's a bit the background about the research I have been doing with my students, my final year students. Why I think that it mentions by the vice president of TEFLIN earlier that COVID-19, you know, we are affected by, all of you guys affected by COVID-19. It's like blessing in disguise. Is make it faster to integrate the technology into our daily life, into especially in a classroom, in education setting. You know that the COVID-19 forced, whether we want it, whether we like it or not, we all then implement our teaching, implement our learning, integrating with technology. At the beginning, I would like to discuss about the background first. With a result of new informations and communication technology, which happens, it's been quite sometimes. Also, the whole education system has undergone dramatic changes within the past few decades. I mean, the technologies have altered the common approaches to teaching and also learning. I mean, since the the late 2019, also the beginning of 2020, so we are forced again by the COVID-19. Then the study become fully online. Whether we, it's mostly about the research, they try to figure out whether the teachers ready or not. But what I'm going to focus is this student is not as the object of the study, the object of learning. So we forced and how then at the beginning of 2022, then the pandemic has started to disappear, it migrating into first offline to fully online because we cannot made of in persons, and the beginning of 2022 then becoming the hybrid. So this is why then I think what happened with the student then after they've got fully offline and fully online, and how they can adapt with the mixing method, online and offline. Basically has been implemented well in maybe well-developed country, but Indonesia, we still have there's a lot of things that to dig down about this topic. And then because of the topic is about hybrid, so it's computer mediated education strengthened in hybrid learning. So a great number of studies, ladies and gentlemen, I think they have determined whether the computer mediated education, I mean, in the forms of e-learning, maybe in the form of blended, or it's similar with hybrid learning. So most of them that have the outcome, for instance, in learning and student satisfactions, and what about their perceptions? The number of research based on the teacher perception, teachers' experience, teacher readiness, and competency to face and to implement fully online and also hybrid. But what about the students? And also, in the most prominent features, in the absence of physical classrooms, which is replaced by the use of web-based technologies, offering and combining with the face-to-face or in-person learning process. So this is really interesting. So I just try to figure out two things here. First of all, I'm going to discuss about what are student perceptions of hybrid learning setting in English language learning, and also what I tell and is faced by the students what hybrid learning setting in English language learning. I think because first of all, what the student feel, what the student perceive toward what they get in hybrid learning is going to be may affected to their motivations, can be it affected by their readiness, or as what I can say, as our Minister of Education ever mentions, what about if they are not ready? What about if the teacher not ready, then the victim is the student itself. So what they feel, what they think about the hybrid learning. So as I mentioned earlier, our, how to say that, Minister of Education mentioned that what about it happens then learning loss? So what happened with that? So because the teacher not ready, then the victim is the students. So first of all, then I would like to make it a bit clear regarding what does it mean by the hybrid. Okay, as mostly it is combinations of face-to-face and computer assisted language learning, because focus in reality in a single teaching and learning environment is called blended learning. We often hear about the blended learning, but what's different between hybrid, or is it quite the same? So many researchers, as I found in a literature, they consider that blended learning is a synonymous to the hybrid learning, or HL here. So it's basically quite the same, only different name, but some think that's a bit different. So I would like to say it is important in hybrid learning is not only merely through computer-assisted language learning and also face-to-face interactions. It's not only that, because you mean hybrid, so it's going to be online and also offline. No, it doesn't mean that. But also it's self-directed learning activities, which take place in environments other than the classroom or the internet. So it's expected in between how it about in outside the classroom. Okay. The concept of hybrid learning, however, is not simply a combination of online or face-to-face interactions. Rather than it's focused on the optimizing achievements of learning objectives by applying, like what you can see in the slide, applying the right learning technologies to the match right learning to the right persons at the right time. However, was it already implemented during the pandemic, or maybe it's already like forced and then some maybe student got the impact of this? And what I want to dig down is one, what they feel, what they assumes about it, and perception about that. So, and again, the perceptions about the perceptions is really crucial. Maybe it's simple thing, but it's crucial because it's engaged in the process of needs, motivations, educational experience of the students, because it's affected by that. It's the based on the research done by the Aprianto 2019. So because of the the sudden change, sudden movements from fully offline with the all happens and in persons, face to face, all activity happen to the face to face. What about moving to online and going back to even still transitions? So in between half online and half offline, but now I think it's almost some schools I think still will not left the technology because they feel that it is the future. So they try to combine it in between offline and integrate it with the online activities. So what can see here, everyone. So as I mentioned earlier, it's not only, okay, what happened there online and what happened there in a classroom. So you have to have like integrated in between online and offline. Sorry. So teacher-led instructions in a dynamics will provide the teachers more one-to-ones, okay? And also time to support student individual needs. Maybe in the classroom, the students, they are introvert or they don't want to share knowledge, experience publicly, then the student can increase the students' confidence through the hybrid learning. And then also after that's not only happen in a classroom. So what happened in small group instructions and collaborative outside the classrooms. Well, individual also can, how to say that, work individually through offline and also personalized online learning. So I think that's why then why we have to consider as the object of the learning process, a student itself, to know what they feel, to know what they experience during the pandemics, during the transitions from pandemic to the new normal, what I can say that. As I mentioned, it's a blessing in disguise, yeah. Okay, so then many schools adapt both sides, even though the teacher are struggling how to adapt the new technology, which they are comfortably with the old learning or old teaching style. So, and then differentiate instructions through adaptive and assigned software generate immediate students learning data to maximize students growth and also success. This one is like what I can say simply, but I think it's meaningful. An account of the mostly qualitative approach adopted in this study, the researcher has deemed appropriate through the simple form accessible subject. The accessible research subjects were comprised of EFL students studying at a secondary school in Samarinda. A semi-structured interview was implemented to interview 6 participants only. We try to figure out from the top level, middle levels, and also the low levels. Why then we decide to choose those categories from the report? Because we would like to cover or accommodate all needs, all experience, what they think about if they are top students, if they are middle students and low students, what they experience about the hybrid learning. Okay, so that is the way I then took the data from the 6 students from the from secondary schools in Samarinda. So that's basically what I got about the student perceptions on hybrid learning setting and challenges in hybrid learning settings. This discussion, basically, finding and discussion, basically, I tried to conclude first what they got is the most, what the valuable thing from the hybrid learning, or they just enjoy the offline one or just enjoy the online one, then I can try to draw the conclusions from this. Okay, the challenge and also the student perception itself. First, beginning with the advantage, what the students get. it can be concluded from the interview result that firstly, the interaction between the teacher and also the students becomes even live. The student feel that they benefit more in offline rather than in online or in hybrid. They say that even live, they can enjoy the class. They can ask directly to the teacher when they have problems. They maybe sing a songs, for example, or maybe the teacher have different strategies, ways to live up the learning process. So first of all, what the students benefit is still for offline learning. They say that it's more interactive, it is more, fun, and it's all amazing having this teacher using different strategies that make student comfortable. And it related to this first finding, then the lessons comprehensions. Well, the student also mentioned, some student mentioned in offline class, we could do face-to-face with the teacher, so we could understand the lesson better. I think maybe because of the, how to say that, the online platform they use online Google Classroom, they not really accommodate, even interact only one way from students or only from the teacher, because the teacher also cope with the activities or stuff at the school. So they feel like the student mentioned, they comprehend more if they have offline class comparing if they attend the online class. Okay. And motivations is from the top students. They say that during the hybrid learning, I do not find any difficulties in learning English because I really love English. Basically, they just because they love English, so they are not really mentioning about which one is best one, offline or online or hybrid one. So then we come up with the challenges. The first one is demotivations. Learning offline and online were the same basically. I sometimes find it difficult because I do not really like English. For me, it's difficult. Moreover, I have to study alone with the Google Classroom. So that's mean demotivate the students. When they're in the class, maybe they can interact directly with the teacher. But in online class, these students feel like they first, they don't like the material. They don't like English. But secondly, they have to learn about the Google Classroom because the school forced to use it and they don't understand basically the Google Classroom, no training. Even maybe the teacher, they're not ready. Some of the teacher maybe, they're not ready how to operate, how to create nice class, Google Classroom to make it different, to make it more interesting. So even the online learning demotivate the student motivations. Is somehow really sad to find out this case, or maybe maybe it's different university students because they are not already engaged with the technology more. But for secondary school or junior high school, they got difficulty to adapt with the new concept in Google Classroom, for example. And the next one is like the vocabulary relating to English language learning. So it's from low-level students that we got. As I mentioned, some benefit from high-level students. They say that, okay, that's just fine using both online and offline, or because I'm good at the material, I'm good at English. What about the low-level students? I do not know the vocabulary in English at all. Moreover, they have to study at home alone. When they want to ask, it's only just one line information. When they want to add others or significant others, they don't have it at home and they cannot meet with other people or because of the pandemic or so on. And it is like the opposite, the previous one, the benefit from the hybrid learning. I do not really understand the lesson in the classroom as well as understanding the use of the media during the hybrid learning process. So both they are not capable with, it's quite similar with the motivation. They don't really understand about the material. Moreover, they have to access it by themselves into the Google classrooms. And yeah, it's like, for example, disaster for the students. because some maybe they instruction also in English, they don't understand the instructions, they don't understand the media, they don't understand access the media, so it's becoming distractions for them. And the next one is this one, difficult access of learning media. Teacher used Google's Classroom. Sorry, teacher used Google Classroom, but it was difficult to submit the assignment. So I sent my answer to teachers on WhatsApp. So I mean, they finally left the media, even though it's a must. It's just only the WhatsApp. Even the WhatsApp, the WhatsApp, I mean, doesn't have any features that can how to say that we can make a good learning. It's only like sending chat and also sending the assignments or so on, because yeah, it's difficult for them because they don't know. There is no preparations for the class. It's maybe different if the schools already well developed and then they make training both for teacher and for students. They're going to be great, but for them it's like the forced to adapt and they're not ready yet. Is it basically good, but they're not ready yet? That's what I repeat again. Maybe learning loss because they do nothing. They got nothing, for example, if online, and the teacher cannot control one by one because the teacher also still trying to learn about Google Classroom. This is what I call is the surprising thing that I found, but it's already maybe happened among us and everyone knows about it, but it's like when they study at home or doing the hybrid but it's in the online sessions, the thing was that student mentioned that in hybrid process, they were actually burdened. They were actually burdened because their parent actually took advantage of the existence of the student at home. So the parent asked the students to do the homework, to do a lot of things, so make them really tired. Then eventually the student did not focus for learning. As long as they maybe just copy the parent is asked to go to buy something outside in the time when they have to finish the work. And okay, sorry. And then asked to clean up the house because the moms may be busy with her own business and so on. So it's like parents somehow is like taking benefit from the student at home. Okay, and so those things from the benefit and also what have been mentioned by the student, what I can conclude is, so maybe it's quite different finding from different research, but for this, it's one of school in Samarinda. They say that, so in conclusions, this study had proved that student perception hybrid learning, maybe setting, is the good only in offline learning setting when using attractive media. And online learning setting has a negative view, which is difficulty to access of learning media. So in general, it can be concluded that the students have negative perception toward hybrid learning carried out at the school because of the many obstacles and lack of interactions with the teachers. Maybe if it's already well organized, good preparations, then students understand, maybe it's going to be more interesting. But however, what happened is like, it just happened so that I think it's very crucial, this study, to get more understanding about what they feel and until they can at least real learning at home and also at school. So I think that's all from me, but Halim, so I'll give it back to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Ibrahim. That's a very insightful sharing for today. That online learning is unavoidable, but however, in some occasion, it is not easy to follow, right? So I open the Q&A session for the first session. One question only. Anybody who wants to ask a question to Pak Ibrahim, you can raise your hand. Okay, I see somebody raise hand. Aris Abdillah. Okay, time is yours, please.
Thank you, Pak Halim. Good morning, Pak Ibrahim. thank you for the presentation. My first question is, in your source or your review of literature, you mentioned that engaging students with blended learning or hybrid learning necessitate or requires the right technologies, right methods, right person, and right time. I would like you to elaborate more on the terminologies of right person. So it insinuates a kind of exclusivity rather than inclusivity in towards the use of blended learning. So would you please elaborate more on the term of right person in engaging students on hybrid or blended learning? And the second question is, I think we need to streamline on the terminologies of blended and hybrid learning, because it's still rather confusing whether blended learning is more towards self-directed learning, or is it more to teacher-led learning? Because I think the trend is, last time I read in the future planning of the national curriculum that blended learning or hybrid learning will be more directed to additional material or enrichment material, not as a replacement of a class or a replacement of materials. So nowadays we know that some teachers ask their students to do self-directed learning to replace lessons in the classroom, right? Or to replace teaching in the classroom. So what do you think is the future projection on hybrid learning? Will it be towards self-directed learning or teacher-led learning? Will it replace teaching sessions or learning materials? Will it be effective to replace those, or will it be more effective as additional or enrichment materials? Thank you.
Okay, Pak Halid. Okay, so thank you very much for really brilliant questions, Aristabila. Yeah, I mentioned about the right learning technologies to the method learning to the right at the right times, based on the Graham research. As I read on his research, it doesn't mean that it's inclusivity regarding to the right person, because implementing technology, they have to have the knowledge and also the skills. So for those, like us, for example, because they studied in United States, they mean like the right already understand which technology like appropriate to be implemented in the classroom, for example, like that, and also in the right age, and also the right person in the right time. And so the key is for the preparation itself. It doesn't mean that inclusivity, but what Graham wants to share is you have to understand clearly. It's not becoming the wrong direction. It's just use it because it's the trend, because you have to do that. So you have to learn about the right technology, the right methodology for the right person in the right time, in right age, for example, in the right level of education. Okay, and for the second questions, I forgot, I didn't write it. What about the hybrid learning? But nowadays, it's like, for me, in my own perception, is for the futures of hybrid learning, I think it should be in the both. So not only self-directed from students to learn, also the guidance from the teachers. So you can do both, but it can be like for the student itself to do the learning itself. Like it is the process of combinations. So for example, if you, the we cannot still replace the existence of the teacher as the guidance. For example, if it doesn't mean but the teacher only give all the explanations, then the students like only receive the knowledge from the teachers. It's like if for hybrid learning for the future, we still do the need the existence of the teacher. Like maybe the teacher gives the assignments in platform, any platform they use. It can be Google Classrooms, Moodle, or Open Learning. But sometimes they also need the more explanation in synchronous meetings, like maybe Zooms, or if you're not allowed to meet in persons, or maybe in an offline class. That's as far as I understand, Aris. So yeah, thank you for the questions.
Okay, thank you very much for Pak Ibrahim, and thank you very much for Aris Abdillah who has given the questions. And for other participants, do not worry to ask any questions, because at the end of the event, we will give a door prize to those who gives questions. So please keep up your spirit, right? So now I would like to we'll go to the next session, which will be the presentation of the second speaker. She is Ibu Dina Lestari, SSMPD. So I would like to introduce her first. She is a senior lecturer at UINSI Samarinda University, East Kalimantan, Indonesia, since 2005 until present. And she holds a bachelor degree of English literature, Masters of English Education, and she also currently is studying a doctoral degree of Education Management. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Bu Dina Lestari. Assalamualaikum Bu Dina, good morning.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
How are you, Ibu?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, Ibu Dina, I'd like to invite you to present your material for today.
Yeah, I think the committee would like to help me to share my screen.
The committee is preparing the presentation right now.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Special also for all of the online participants and also my adik Aris Abdillah. Thank you so much. Long time no see, adik. Thank you very much for joining me. Welcome everybody to today's seminars. It's my pleasure to be here. It's lovely to see many people joining. Hope the committee assists me to share my screen, please. Okay, while we are waiting for them to get my screen up, I'd say that I'm not coming to you as an expert as I give you a presentation today. I'm only presenting you with something I noticed and discover, as well as my practical experiences as an English lecturer at UINSI Samarinda. Is it okay for the committee? Thank you so much. Okay, first slide. Okay, the theme of this morning seminar is Bridging Theories, Practices, and Technology in ALT. I will try to deliver my presentations within 20 minutes. I'd like to discuss learner autonomy in my EFL classrooms at UINSI Samarinda. Next slide, please.
I'm sorry, Budina, maybe you can speak louder because the sound is, yes. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bapak Abdul Halim. So I also divided my speech into 3 sections: introduction, discussions, and conclusions. Next slide, please. Committee. Okay, you can pop up all of the slide 3. Well, I've always discovered the topic in many approaches to successfully teaching English skill, and the more I learn, the more questions I have, to be precise. My English students with a high degree education at the English Language Department study program, UINSI Samarinda, should be highly motivated to study, to pay attention to the lesson, and they will actively participate in teaching and learning process to enhance their English skills. Improving motivation and participations may be accomplished by developing students' learning habits or learning styles. Wait a moment, let's check. Okay. Then, excuse me. Okay. Well, I would like to say that talking about my background, net generation is also known as net geners. Okay? Net geners. According to the expert, they grew up with the internet. They grew up with the internet. So as a result, they learn to accept such technology as a part of their daily life. We know that the internet has a worldwide reach and global reach and allowing for high-level global communications. So it's no surprise that net geners are global citizens. In a short, a book written by John Palfrey and Urs Gassers under the title Born Digital, Understanding the First Generations of Digital Natives, they suggested that what we call it, the only word digital natives aside the digital one. They grew up with a properly connecting with others through digital technology. So, ladies and gentlemen, they also have a high expectation of speed and rapid pleasure in whatever they do. And they are both skilled at multitasking and impatient. The student need to know their learning style since they will be able to learn something effectively, something efficiently and pragmatically. So it can be done through the improvement of their learning autonomy. What I've noticed is my English students have learning autonomy in my EFL classrooms. The problem of motivations and involvement can be reduced as they have the awareness of learning something independently. So learning and teaching is a highly context specific. It shows we learn so much about the different contexts that many people with their myriad specific work in, and how language learning looks in also various places, and how it doesn't look, how humans learn anything, and how they learn a language in general, and specifically how they learn the language in particular context. So moving, I would like to go into at a glance about the natures of learning autonomies. We know when we're searching in the dictionary, autonomous it's the same with independent learners means not being under the rule or control of another. So there is considerable interest in the importance of learning autonomy in a language teaching and learning in my EFL classroom, particularly at the higher education level, such as at my campus at UINSI Samarinda. It also happens in the English departments at my units. So over the last decades, we already, you can see in the internet and many resources that professionals have extensively researched learning autonomy in a wide range of circumstances and created a variety of techniques to promote it as a means of language learning as well as an aim in itself. So it seeks to research learning autonomy in the environments of higher education's EFL and to explore the link between learner autonomy and language outcomes. So, ladies and gentlemen, thus the learner self-initiations and learner self-regulation are conceptualized and operationalized as learner autonomy. Well, here I think cultivating learner autonomy is excellent, especially in today's environments when we are increasing reliant on internet resources more and more frequently. Ladies and gentlemen, I think developing learner autonomy and increasing responsibility for what I learn to encourage the independence of my English students at my campus in the process of learning in and out of my EFL classrooms. Last but not least, in this slide, I would like to say that in addition to that, we are all eager to learn more, to improve ourselves and broaden our horizons, broaden our knowledge. However, impediments such as regular work of obligations and formal learning institutions might get in the way. This is where learner autonomy may be used to help learners self-direct their knowledge needs. So it may be implemented into my corporate learning strategy to encourage and to engage my EFL classroom in English language department at my university. Next slide, please. Excuse me, next slide, please. Committee. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, thank you so much. So moving to formative years, ladies and gentlemen, do you recall how we learn when we were kids? We learn most things informally from everybody, from our parents' guidance, from family, relative, friends, especially during our early years. So when we were kids, we learn cognitive abilities. We learn about language, we learn about basic reading, numeracy, sense of humor, so on and so forth in a relatively casual setting. So I think why not take a similar approach when developing workplace learning and development modules in EFL classrooms? And why not give learners autonomy and authority to enhance their learning experience and boost engagement in our EFL classrooms? So why autonomous learning? According to research, nearly all Gen Z, 95%, and millennials, 93%, employees are eager to automate elements of their jobs. They are already comfortable utilizing technology. And once they are free of the confines of continual instructor direction, they can use the existing tools. They can use technology to their full potentials. In addition to that, you can have a look on your screen. In 2003, Fornet and Cyprus make the point that students must constantly perceive the point of what they are learning and be allowed to pursue their own perceptions of this in their unique ways in the educational setting. Moreover, in the same year, in 2003, Vanegedi portrays autonomy as a capacity. What does this mean? It means a set of attitudes and abilities that enable learners to take more responsibility for their own learning. Last but not least, have a look at Little. Little states that the ability to direct one's own learning is fundamental to learner autonomy. Moving to the next slides, please, committee. Slide 5, I think. Okay. Thank you so much. Turning to characteristic autonomous learner. Learner autonomy has become a central topic in language teaching and learning in EFL classrooms over time. You can have a sense and on your screen. Gather Cole described the characteristic of autonomous learners as a first when the learner is willing to and capable of taking charge of his learning. And the second point is the term independence. The term independence plays a pivotal role. It means that the learner shall be able to choose their aims and they choose their purposes as well as materials, method, and tasks. Therefore, learner autonomy concentrates on the examinations of why, of what, and how the students can learn independently. So what about Camilleri? She portrays the characteristic of autonomous learners. The learners are expected to carry the responsibility for their learning, negotiate, and cooperate with the teachers in selecting objectives and ways of achieving them, sharing knowledge, experiences, and feeling, while respecting the individuality of others and learn to monitor and, of course, evaluate the progress. So as a result, learners here must learn to work independently, not only for their success in EFL classroom, but also for their extracurricular activities. Besides, learner autonomy seeks to prepare young people for lifelong learning through the ability to plan, to organize, and to lead their learning, whether in a classroom setting or in, we can say, extracurricular life setting. And as a lecturer at my campus, I'm required to give my students in the EFL classroom an independent learning environment throughout their classes. So obviously, assume responsibility for my students' growth, assume responsibility for my students' development. So Laurie also stated at least two of her research. First, concept basis, a natural tendency for learners to take control over their learning. And then the second one, learners who lack autonomy can get it if the proper setting and trainings are provided. So autonomous learning is more effective rather than non-autonomous learning. Next slide, please. The committee. So the importance of autonomous learning ability, I see that significant arguments or reasons in favor of learner autonomy in my class in English learnings is such as motivations. It increases students' motivations and contributes to more effective learning. Also, it gives learners additional possibilities to communicate in English in a non-native context, like my campus. And the third one, it meets the unique needs of students at all levels, because some of them are good in English, fluency, and some of them not really good. So it also has a long-lasting impact. Next slide, please. Oh, no. It's the same because I would like to read it fast. I read it twice because 5 principles for achieving autonomous learning. I take this one from Professor Jack Cherry's that active involvement in students' learning, providing option and resources, offering choices and decisions-making opportunities, supporting learners, encouraging reflection. So teachers should strive to create a secure environment in which students feel free to test out their English abilities, take chance without fear of being judged or being, what we say, humiliated. Next slide, please. I think this is slide 7. So what exactly are the inquiries of autonomous language learners? Would you like to click again, because this is not full of the slide? Yes, that's good. Thank you so much. Picture 1 talking about the activities. I do believe that as a teachers, as a lecturers, I think teacher or lecturer should ask the students questions such as, what activities do they like to do? So what about difficulties? You can also ask as a lecturer, what difficulties are they having in learning in English? I pretty often to ask this one, not only in the middle of courses, afterward, or maybe in the opening of just for brainstorming about the last sessions. So the teacher should listen carefully and use of information to adjust their teaching. For me, teacher can seek to draw out their student using active activities that are fun and that are non-threatening. So in picture 3, I choose choices. It means that teachers should give the student choices on a regular basis. For example, I ask my students, would you like to interview someone in a special, in a particular courses? For example, cross-cultural understanding or intermediate reading or whatever, or act as a role play. So it could be that different students could choose different activities rather than the whole class making the choices, right? So this could be accomplished using small groups, and each group could make some choices as to what activities they will participate in. So learning style in a picture 4. Educational theories, Neil Fleming said the VARK model of students' learning. VARK is an acronym that refers to 4 learning types: visual, auditory, reading or writing, preference, and kinesthetic. So understanding what type of learner, me, myself, and my students, I am able to better apply various learning styles to my lessons. because we already know each other. Oh, I don't like this one. What about this one? That's all. The make my more, what we call it, easy to my lesson planning and study practices. So the concept of learning styles refer to the recognitions that every learner learns differently. However, technically, a person's learning style related to their preferred method. What kind of method? Absorbing, processing, comprehending, and remembering knowledge. Responsibility. So what about responsibility? Students must understand the aim for which they are trying in order to take responsibility for their learning. I should assist my students in developing reasonable, achievable, quantifiable objectives. So if our students can evaluate themselves, they will know how they are doing without feeling embarrassed. Next slide, please. So what exactly are these guiding principles? First, individuals must be considered learners. The second one, learners is okay, you just stay there. Okay, thank you. Learners require opportunities to experiment with various paths. I use by myself. I create PAST by myself. It means that just make me easy to remember it. Procedure, approaches, strategies, and techniques to discover which ones work best for my student. I do believe it can be done in one lesson. It can be done in one activity and can be done all the time or every single lessons. The third one is lecturer must emphasizes the importance of learning autonomy to students. Fourth, learners and lecturers or learner and teachers, whatever, need to understand that learner autonomy is a competency. It's not something you can be tested in the exam, not something true. This is true, this is false answers, or the students suddenly achieve. It's an ongoing process. This takes time, ladies and gentlemen, takes time to reach development, tracking and monitoring progress. The fifth is teaching style is much more coaching rather than teaching. We need to give them space. So overall, I'd like to say the lessons or the class of my English language students was much learner-centered. To be about what the learners doing and what they not, and not just about the curriculum or going through the materials. That's what I've done so far. The last slide, I think, conclusions, the committee, please. Thank you so much. So the notions of learners' autonomy is presented based on the work of both me as a lecturer and my English student in my EFL classrooms. The concept genesis is traced back. Many different, definitions are provided, and the lecturer's role in the context of learner autonomy is highlighted. It goes without saying that the goal of language acquisitions in my EFL classrooms is more than just studying vocabulary, grammar, and cultural quick common to native speakers. So, of course, it takes short and long-term goals. But what about the long-term goal? The long-term goal is to improve oral abilities. Example, the ability to communicate thoughts verbally and understand an interlocutor statement. Because learner autonomy is oriented towards solitary work, teaching speaking skill, which involve combinations of peer and group work requires further development. So in my opinion, using learner autonomy in a foreign language teaching makes sense only if the learner autonomy skills are employed as a basis for creating personal attributes that generate responsibility for students learning for more successful foreign language mastery. So the verbal part of a foreign language must be taught through the use of peer and group practice. So in my perspective, the applications of learner autonomy technology in a foreign language instruction is critical for building a particular foundations that lead the development of human attributes such as responsibility for learning, independence in making decisions, and confidence in one's skills, confidence in one's ability. Also, last but not least, I would like to say in English language learning, autonomy is a process. So ladies and gentlemen, it is a process. It is not a commodity that our students, our pupil desires nowadays. It is difficult to teach learners everything they need to know in a class. The class activities should be geared toward the growth of learner autonomy. To be able to track their progress, language learners should constantly discover whether there are certain merits and downside to learner autonomy. Being an autonomous learner is related to being consciousness of one's societal obligations. Thank you so much. And then the last slide, I would like to say thank you for the moderator and thank you for all the online participants.
All right, thank you very much, Ibu Dina Destari. So that is a very insightful presentation about autonomous learners. Thank you, Ibu. Good morning. And then we're going to continue with the next presenter from Universitas Kutai Kartanagara, Unikarta. She is Ibu Sri Utami. I would like to introduce her first. So we don't have the Q&A session for these sessions. The Q&A will be delivered at the end of the session of the events. Thank you, Ibu Dina. All right, now I'd like to introduce the next presenter, Ibu Sri Utami, SPD, MTD. She is the lecturer at English Education Department Unikarta since 2000. All right, and now she is currently as the head of study program of English language education in Unikarta since 2020. She holds BA degree in LT from University of Mula Warman, and she also holds MA in education management from University of Mula Warman. So Ibu Sri Utami would like to welcome her. Assalamualaikum Ibu Sri Utami.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning Ibu.
Good morning all.
Hello, how are you?
Okay, I'm fine, thank you.
All right, so I'd like to give the time, please, for your presentation. So Ibu Sri Utami, time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for Pak Abdul Halim as a moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. All the audience, good morning.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Miss.
Okay, here I would like to say my thankfulness that I was invited by the committee of this national webinar as the presenter, and I really appreciate it for the invitations. And here, I am as a speaker here, not as an expert, yeah. Okay, so in this time, I would like to share my knowledge that what I have known about this subject that I would be presented. And I'm not the expert, so please, for the participants, we can share the information later. Yeah. Okay, for the moderator, please tell me if I offer the time of presentation. Yeah. Okay, because the time is only 20 minutes to present these materials. Okay, I would like to share my presentations. Okay. Can you see my slide?
Yes, Ibu, we can see your slide.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the title is, I choose the titles of various ways in teaching and learning vocabularies because this is what I know, and in English department I handle this vocabulary building subject. Yeah. Okay, I will divide my presentations become 3 parts. First is introductions, and then the discussions and conclusions. Yeah. Okay. First of all, I would like to ask the participants one question. Yeah, maybe one of you can answer these questions. Why does vocabulary play a very important role in learning a language? Maybe one of you want to answer?
Any participant are welcome
Any
to answer the
participant?
questions.
Yeah. Somebody wants to answer these questions? Why does vocabulary play a very important role in learning a language? Do you want?
There are two people raise their hands.
Yeah, maybe Suchi. Yeah, Suchi.
Okay, Suchi, please.
Okay, yes, thank you. Um, I think vocabulary is very important in learning a language because without vocabulary, we cannot even try to speak. We cannot speak. Thank you.
Okay, so according to Suchi, vocabulary is only for speaking. Maybe Daniel? Daniel, would you want to answer?
In my opinion, vocabulary is pretty much important because without it, it's like the base of some ingredients, if I want to try to explain it. Without vocabulary and without ingredients, you can't do anything. You can't speak, you can't write, you can't even read. You won't know anything if you don't have any vocabulary. It's pretty much important in the basis of English.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Daniel. It's quite right, yeah. Okay, why we need vocabulary in learning a language? Any language, I believe that we should have a lot of vocabularies if we want to communicate with others. Yeah, communicate not only in oral ways like speaking. Yeah, we can also communicate by listening to others, by reading a book, or by writing our ideas. Yeah. Okay, so like Daniel say that without vocabulary, yeah, we can do nothing. Yeah. So the analogy is the more vocabulary the learners have or we have, yeah, the easier for us or the easier for them to develop their full language skills. Yeah. So if we want to be more capable in our language skills, yeah, it is believed that you have to stocks, yeah, you have to have a lot of vocabularies in your mind. Yeah, because it is impossible for us to develop our language skills. Yeah, we cannot speak well, we cannot write well, we cannot understand or comprehend well about what is printed in a book, for example, or we cannot comprehend what other people say. Yeah, without having much vocabulary, I think it is impossible. So the more words a person knows, the more secure he or she feels himself or herself, the more willing he or she is to communicate. Yeah, maybe the participants can feel how about your language skills. Yeah, if you don't have large vocabularies in your mind, yeah, maybe you will have difficulties to speak to others or maybe to comprehend what others people say. Maybe the willing to communicate with others will be reduced, yeah, because you will feel shy with others because it is hard for you to express yourself with others. Yeah, so you tend to keep silent. Yeah, when you communicate with others using English. Yeah, because you don't have many vocabularies. Yeah, I believe that we will have difficulties to express ourselves if we don't have many vocabularies. Yeah, so that's why vocabulary plays an important role in learning language. Yeah? Okay, I quote two quotations from the experts here, like Ji Hong says that without vocabulary, one cannot communicate effectively or express idea. Yeah. He also states that having a limited vocabulary is also a barrier. And I believe the others will agree with this Ji Hong states. Yeah. Without vocabulary, yeah, we cannot communicate effectively, or we cannot express idea. And if we don't have a lot of vocabularies, I think it is a barrier. Yeah, it is a barrier. It is the drawbacks. Yeah, the drawbacks for us to communicate with others. Yeah, we cannot express our idea. And then, like Wilkins say in Buddhiharso, that vocabulary is important not only for learning the language itself, but also for the language for communication. Yeah. So vocabulary is important when we learn the language, any language, I think. The first thing that we have to learn is about vocabulary. Yeah. So when we learn to communicate, we also must learn about the about the vocabulary itself. Yeah. So without grammar, very little can be conveyed, but without vocabulary, nothing can be conveyed. Yeah, I believe the participant will feel the same. Yeah, when we talk or when we communicate with others, when we do not master grammar very well, it's okay. Yeah, as long as the others understand what we say, yeah, it's no problem. Yeah, but can you imagine if we don't have enough vocabulary? Yeah, I think nothing can be said to others. Yeah, nothing can be conveyed to others. Yeah, no information can be shared with others if we don't have vocabulary, even it is oral vocabulary or written vocabulary. Yeah. Yeah, I think all of us will quite agree with these quotations. Yeah. So when we learn vocabulary, yeah, I think it's only not about the meaning of the vocabulary itself. As a teacher or as a learner, yeah, when we learn about vocabulary, there are some aspects that should be considered in mind when we learn about vocabulary. Yeah. So as a teacher, when you teach a vocabulary, or as a learners, when you learn about vocabulary, you should consider about the aspect of form. Yeah. There are some aspects that should be considered in mind when we learn about vocabulary. First is aspect of form. Yeah. When we learn about vocabulary, we should also know about how to pronounce the word and how to write the words. Yeah. So we should know the pronunciation and the spelling of the words, especially for English language. Like we know that between spelling and pronunciations are quite different. Yeah, I think the aspect of form is very, very important for us to be recognized. Yeah. So when we learn about a new word, yeah, we should also know about how to pronounce the word. Yeah. What does the word sound like? Yeah. How the sounds of the words like. Yeah. And then also about the spelling, how the word look like. How does the word look like? How to write? Yeah. How to write the word? Yeah. In a correct spelling form. Yeah. And then the aspect of grammar is also important for us. Having a list of vocabulary, it's useless, I think, yeah, if you cannot use those words in communications. Yeah. When you use those words in communications, of course, aspect of grammar should be considered. Yeah. How to combine the single words become a phrase, become a clause, or become a sentence, yeah? Simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, and become a paragraph. And then the larger one is become a context or discourse. Yeah, I think grammar is very important. Yeah. So grammar relates to grammatical context about for example, the verb forms, yeah, about the single plural forms of nouns, countable or uncountable nouns, yeah, it should be considered in mind, yeah, about the grammar. So when you use vocabulary in a context, yeah, grammar is important. Yeah, especially in written communications. When you express your idea in written form, yeah, grammar is the ones that will be noticed by the reader. Yeah, the reader will know that our grammar is not correct or it is correct. Yeah, by notice the grammar context. Yeah, how you relate the words in the context. And then aspects of collocations is also important to be considered when you learn a language, especially about vocabulary. Yeah, how to put some words together. Yeah, so collocations are words which often occur together in a specific order. Yeah, when we are put the words, yeah, maybe the others will have misunderstanding about that. Yeah, for example, like this, the word peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and jelly and peanut butter sandwich will have different form or different meanings. Yeah, if you miss to put the words together, yeah, the meaning of the words is also different. Yeah, so collocation should be learned by the learners, yeah, who wants to have or who wants to learn about vocabulary. Yeah, and then the next aspect is meaning. Yeah, meaning is the first one, yeah, the first one that we considered as a learner about vocabulary. Yeah, sometimes as the learners of vocabulary, we only focus about the meaning. Yeah, the meaning. Generally, we focus about the other meanings to another language, yeah? Or we call it intersynonym. Yeah, intersynonymy. We only focus what is the meaning of this word to, for example, if we have our first language is Indonesian, so we will think about the meaning in Indonesian. Yeah, the meaning in bahasa Indonesia. Okay, so the meaning is not about that. Yeah? The meaning is not about find the similar words in another language. Yeah? So when we talk about the meaning, we should consider about the meaning which are considered to the appropriateness and the meaning which are considered to the relationship. So when we learn about vocabulary related to the meaning aspects, we should consider that even the word has the certain use in the context, whether the meaning has denotative meaning or connotative meaning. Yeah. Okay, it is related to the appropriateness, or even the specific word is suitable for the specific occasions. Yeah. Whether the specific words or the specific items of vocabulary are suitable or are appropriate to formal or informal conversations. Yeah, so it is discussed in meaning which are considered to the appropriateness. Yeah, and then when we talk about the meaning which are considered to the relationships, when we learn about word, yeah, we should be considered whether the word has certain item relates to certain words. Yeah, whether the word has synonyms or antonyms, or maybe the word have homographs, homophones, or hyponyms, yeah, or homonyms. Yeah, so we should know about that. Yeah, that is the aspects of meaning. Yeah. And then when we learn about vocabulary, we should also consider about the word formations. We should know how the word is formed. Yeah, this, sorry, moderator, could you off the issue of the microphone of the participant, moderator?
Yes, I'll try to.
Thank you. For the participants, please off your mic, yeah? Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I will repeat again. And when we talk about vocabulary, learn about vocabulary, we should also know about word formations, yeah, how the words are formed, yeah. Yeah, maybe many words are, there are many ways, yeah, there are many ways to form a new words in English, especially, yeah. Whether you can use compounding process, blending process, clipping process, or maybe by using affixes, by using acronyms, or by borrowing to another, borrowing from another language. Yeah? So it is aspects of word formations. So those aspects are important when we learn vocabularies. Yeah. Okay, that's about the introductions, and then next we will discuss about the techniques or ways for teaching and learning vocabularies. First, I will discuss about ways for teaching vocabulary. As a teacher, yeah, I think we will have various ways, yeah, various techniques how to teach vocabulary to our students. And it is important to realize that as a good teacher, we will not rely on just only one of the technique. Yeah, maybe we can combine some techniques. Yeah, yeah. It's depend on what vocabularies that we will teach. It depends on the types of our learners. Yeah, the level of our students. Yeah, yeah. There are many factors that should be considered when we choose the techniques of or the ways for teaching vocabularies to students. Yeah. Here I include some of the ways or the techniques for teaching and practicing vocabularies for our students. Yeah. First, we can use visuals and realia. Yeah, this is the most effective ways of teaching vocabularies. Yeah, to show students the words. Yeah. And then students are prefer to or tends to memorize the words when the students see the words. Yeah, but for visual and realia is yeah, I think it is appropriate to show mostly for nouns. Yeah, for the concrete nouns, I think. Yeah, because we can use the real object, yeah, of the words that we want to teach. Or maybe if it's impossible to bring the real words or the real object to the class, you can still also use visuals for by using pictures. Yeah, you can use pictures. You can bring pictures to the class. Yeah, because it is almost impossible to bring all the concrete words to the class. Yeah, so you can use pictures for the demonstrations of the words. Yeah, if we don't have times to prepare pictures by ourselves, as a teacher, you can also use technology. Yeah, you can use video. Yeah, to be used as your media in teaching vocabulary. There are many pictures in internet. Yeah, you can browsing in the internet and take what pictures do you want. Yeah, to be shown to your students. Yeah, you can use technology by using video. Yeah, by using your computer in your class. Yeah. And then the next is using mime and anecdotes. Yeah. Okay. To introduce the words to our students, yeah, we can also use mime, or we can use gestures or body movements. Yeah. Yeah. Because in teaching vocabulary, yeah, we can use the methods like TPR, yeah, total physical response. Yeah, we can use our body movement, our gestures, our mime, yeah, our facial gestures to show the new word to our students. Yeah, we can practice, for example, run, walk, stroll, sprint, choke, wander. Yeah, we can use our body movement or mime, yeah, to introduce those words. Yeah, and also anecdotes for you, the teachers that used to like to use humor, yeah, for the students. Yeah, you can use another way for presenting vocabulary. Yeah, maybe sometimes you can use or tell the students short anecdotes, yeah, containing the new words, yeah, using using funny stories. Yeah, yeah, you can use this kind of techniques to the students. Yeah, and then the next ways is by eliciting and context. Yeah. Okay, eliciting words from students is an effective way of activating their memories. Yeah, I believe when you teach your students, maybe some of students are already known about the words. Yeah, and then invite your students to tell the words or to describe the words or to figure out the words in front of the class is also effective to learn new words. Yeah, so the explanations is not always for it's not always from the teacher, but you can invite the students to elicit the words that they have already had in their mind. Yeah, and then also using context. Yeah, giving the context for a word. Yeah, just like embedding the words in an anecdote. Yeah, help students to see how a particular item of vocabulary might be used. And using context is also important to be trained to your students. Yeah, because using context will train the students to think more. Yeah, to think more about how to guess the meaning or to know the meaning of the unfamiliar words. Yeah, they will think by using another words in the context also. Yeah, and then using context is, I think, it is important, or it is usable techniques to train the students to use the context, to use another words with the words that we want to know the meaning. Yeah. And then using synonyms and antonyms is also the techniques or the ways to introduce or to teaching new vocabularies to the students. Yeah. Yeah. Using synonyms and antonyms is a techniques often used by the teacher, especially for the low levels of the students. Yeah, to explain words. And using synonyms is to find the same words, yeah, for a specific words, and also the antonyms is the opposites of the words. Yeah, and using synonyms and antonyms is also useful for the students to make the words become larger in amounts. Yeah, by knowing the synonym of a word. Yeah, actually we will add some another words. Yeah, we will have some another words relating to the words. Yeah, and also for the antonyms. Yeah, so by using synonyms and antonyms, it will automatically will increase our students vocabulary. And then translation is also a technique to teach vocabularies, even though translation has a pro and contra. Yeah, and this is still the best techniques, yeah, to use translation, yeah, to teach vocabulary or new vocabulary to the students. Yeah, but in using translations, if we don't have much time in our class. I think it is quite not effective way, yeah, to use translation in this time of teaching, yeah, because translation will spend more time, yeah, because student will think in two languages, yeah, Indonesians and English. And also in this technology era, when gadgets are allowed to bring out in this class, yeah, I think it is not effective ways, yeah, because the students will depend mostly to use their gadgets, yeah, because of Google Translate, yeah. We can your students will easily translate the words into Indonesians by using their gadgets, yeah. Yeah, when I teach English in my class, yeah, sometimes I forbidden my students to use their gadgets, yeah, because they are more rely on their gadgets in knowing the meaning of the words or the meaning of the sentence in English, yeah. So translation is, I think, depends on the situations, yeah. Maybe for the new words that the students want to record in their mind, yeah, we can use this technique, yeah. And then using dictionary is also the safest, yeah, the safest strategies in knowing the new words in
Sorry,
English.
Ibu Utami, you can sum up considering
Yeah,
the time.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, because of time, yeah. Okay, thank you. And then for the techniques of learning vocabulary, also there are so many techniques of learning vocabulary as a learner. But as a learners, we should know what types of learners we are. So, yeah, whether you like to have visual style, auditory style, or kinesthetic styles. Yeah, I think all of us as learners have these kinds or these types of learners. Yeah. Even we like to see something or to hear something, or maybe we tend to practice or learning by doing. Yeah, it is a kinesthetic. Yeah, and it is important to be considered. Yeah, to know what types of learner we are. Yeah, yeah. We can, in reality, we can combine those types of learners. Yeah, to to have the vocabularies, yeah. And there are many techniques in learning vocabularies, yeah, like we can see in my presentations, yeah. We can use write, look, cover, repeat, yeah, and then try to learn as many new words as possible, understand where to use which words, and then find better and new sources that can help you to learn, and then try to use flashcards, make use of internet, work in context, and then break down links between data, and then practice repetitions, yeah, to not forget, and use sticky notes, study linguistics. It's also the best techniques to learn vocabularies. And yeah, there are so many techniques that we can use in learning vocabulary as a learners. Yeah, you can read this by yourself later. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all. As the conclusion, some of the techniques and activities are used more frequently than others, and some are not used at all. It is mostly depends on the appropriateness of the style of teaching or the student's need or the type of learners. Finding the best way to teach and learn vocabulary with your students is one of the most important things as a teacher you can do, or as a learners that you can do. Yeah, and having a range of techniques and activities aids this process. Yeah, I think that's all that can be presented. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Sri Utami. That's a very insightful presentation about various ways of teaching vocabulary. Just like the title, there are so many ways in teaching the vocabulary, right? Okay, so without further ado, I'd like to invite the next speakers, the distinguished speakers from the TEFLIN board member for the last sessions, which I would like to call the keynote speakers, Ibu Nur Arifah Drajati. Good morning, Ibu. Are you here?
Good morning, Pak Abdul Halim. Thank you.
All right, so before Ibu Dr. Nur Arifah Drajati is presenting, I'd like to introduce her to all the participants. So her complete name is Dr. Nur Arifah Drajati MPD, and she has a bachelor degree in teaching English in ALTS from UNS, and then she also holds a master degree from Universitas Negeri Jakarta in language education. Also, she holds the doctorate degree from also UNJ, Universitas Negeri Jakarta, in language teaching. She graduated in 2013. Yes, Ibu.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Right now, Ibu Nur Arifah is currently teaching in UNS, which is in Solo. Yes, Ibu. All
That's right.
Are you in Solo right now, Ibu Nur?
Yes.
Yes. All right. It is very nice to have you as the distinguished speakers in this event, and I'd like to give the time and place to you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Abdul Halim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Bapak Ibu and all the participants. Thank you very much for having this kind of occasions. Hopefully that today is a nice day, and hopefully that we can discuss further about the how to bridging the teachers with the technology. Okay, so I will try to share the slides. I'm so sorry, I cannot share, Pak Abdul Halim. I cannot share the PowerPoint. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so this is based on my research and also my trial. So today I would like to present about the topic promoting five-step model for professional development for English teachers in integrating pedagogy with technology. Okay, so actually it is not new for having this kind of teacher professional development in online program. It is a decade ago, but there is a kind of some new things that we can promote to English teachers in Indonesia. So sorry, there are some voices.
To all participants, please make sure you turn off your microphone.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so today we would like to have 3 points of discussion. First is the online PD program for English teachers, the 5-step coaching model and the advantage for English teachers, and the third one, the challenges and future implications for English teachers. Okay, so this is what happened today. Yeah, so actually this is more than a decade for the online professional development for teachers, moreover for English teachers. Then we have pandemic, then we try to have some trials for the PD programs. So though there's a kind of a pandemic, we still have some opportunities to have this kind of program for developing teachers' competence. Webinars with webinars like this, yeah. Actually, that's helping teachers for coping some difficulties that teachers had during the pandemic. But some or in many cases that this kind of PD program cannot run well. So it is only just stopped by having such kind of listening. to the resource person. After that, stop. Yeah, without any further implications in the classroom. Yeah, so this is what the things that we can consider, and also we try to solve this kind of problem. Yeah. So regarding to the theories, this is some considerations. Yeah. Lynn, Juliana, and Leon argued that to ensure quality and lifelong learning, teacher professional development must be high quality, equitable, and efficient. The second one, Thalys on 2013, proposed that the continuous teacher professional development is highly crucial both to improving educators' effectiveness and quality of teaching, and enhance teachers' commitment to being professional development. And the last one, online teacher professional development provide teachers with the opportunities to improve themselves without being limited in time and space. Yeah, so this is from me. Yeah, okay, so based on this kind of concept, we try to find a models for the teachers for continuing their professional development, yeah, without any space and time. Then this is the idea. This is from the stories of the Odyssey. Yeah, so this is the epic or the history or the stories as the inspiration. We call this is as the coaching model, and the coaching model is come from the stories from Odyssey. Yeah, that this is the concept of coaching is come from. In the last 3,000 years in the Greek, Odysseus appointed his young son Telemachus to the care of the coach, his trusted partner when he fought in the Trojan War. I think that some of us, maybe all of us knows about this war. This is a very epic war, and we can see from the movies. Yeah, he was unpredictably missing for decades, and during that time, the coach supported and assisted the boy. Since then, the terms coach and coaching have become widely used to label coaching activities performed to guide and equip someone with a specific knowledge and skills. So researchers find that this kind of model can be implemented in the teacher professional development in online platform. So we can draw the coaching model like this. So this is the instructor or the resource person, and then there are some of the mentors here, and some mentors hold for the teachers, yeah, to help, to assist, to guide teachers to learn about how to make use of the technology in the classroom. And this is not only just talking about the technology tools, but how the technology integrated in the pedagogy. Yeah. So there are three factors here. First is the technology, and then the second one is the pedagogy, and the third one is the content. Yeah. So this is the how we describe about the coaching model. Yeah, so this is the coaching model. Coaching is the approach and a set of skills for developing people and maintaining good result of professional development. And the second one, coaching, is about learning and development activities with similar foundation. So it is like the same activities that we can guide the teachers with some competence, both in technology, pedagogy, and content. And this is very crucial for boosting the performance and also the motivation. Yeah, this is the advantage of coaching model. Yeah. So by having coaching model based on Love House, this is more representative, cogent, esoteric, and effective, considering their work and its impact to the students. Students here is the teachers. Yeah, so students here is the teachers. And the result is they are more conscious about themselves and their strength as the teachers, more knowledgeable, and they're more confident because the mentors here, it is not only just guide them, but also to motivate them to do better. Yeah. To do the activities based on the instructions from the resource person. The last one is they also gain enhanced metacognitive skills in planning, monitoring, and refining, or we can call as the reflections. Yeah. So by having this kind of activities, the teachers' quality will improve. Yeah, so this is we try to promote this kind of 5-step model coach. First is empowering. Yeah, empowering here is it is not only just using the technology, but also this is talking about the pedagogy. Then the second stage is coaching. Coaching teachers with volunteer coach. Yeah, so there are also some teachers and also some students that have the competence to teach the students, the teacher. The third step, encouraging teachers in designing a lesson and utilizing the technology tools. Yeah, and then implementing the design into the real classroom. And the last one, practicing. We have some reflections. Yeah. So this is the activities that we did a few, I think that it is not a few months ago, but this is starting from 2020. Yeah, starting from 2 years ago. Yeah, we try the best fit for the teachers. Step 1, the TPEC materials in YouTube. So we give the materials through YouTube. If the teachers doesn't have the time for the real time, so they can play the YouTube again, and then they can listen again from YouTube. So most of the teachers cannot reply again to learn about the materials. Then the program, still in the stage 1, the program we introduce 5 pedagogical models. That's discovery learning, project-based learning, problem-based learning, literature circle, and digital storytelling to the teachers. The teachers can choose one of them. Yeah. And we can have some discussions through WhatsApp group. Yeah. So this is how we make use of the technology for learning and also for discussing. Yeah. Okay. Then next, on the step 2, coaching tasks with volunteer coaches. Yeah. In this step, The coaches manage their interactions with their participants through WhatsApp, and sometimes they guide the teachers by creating videos to make sure that all the participants can do and also can learn better in implementing the technology tools and also in integrating pedagogy to the technology tools. And other activities is in every WhatsApp group, the coaches and the participants discuss how to fulfill the task given, and it is also motivate the teachers to do all the assignments. Yeah. On the stage 3 or step 3, encouraging teachers in designing lessons and utilizing technology tools. In this step, it is not easy. Yeah, because why? Because the teachers are rarely to design the lessons using this kind of approach, like project-based learning, problem-based learning, digital storytelling. So in this stage, it needs more time for motivating, guiding, and also learning together with the teachers. Yeah. In this part also, the teachers have a lot of questions because this is also related to the use of the technology tools. Yeah. So some teachers, not some, but many teachers have difficulties in applying the technology tools into their lessons. Yeah. Next to the steps 4, implementing lesson design into real online classroom. Yeah. So in this step, the teachers apply the lesson into teaching practices, and they have to observe the impact to the students. Yeah. And here, the coach or the coaches have some discussions with the teachers in implementing the lessons to their students. Some of the teachers have difficulties because some of the teachers have some limitations in students. Yeah. Some teachers doesn't have any students at that time. Yeah. Why? Because they have to go to online, and the students doesn't have internet connection. So this is the problem that we have. Yeah, the last one is stage 5, practicing reflection. So this is the final steps of the coaching model. The teachers or the participants wrote their teaching reflectives as their experience in doing this kind of teacher professional development. Yeah, and we got some feedback from them. The purpose of the teaching reflection was to have a better understand about the teacher's readiness for online teaching and learning. And we found that there are a lot of difficulties regarding about this. And this is not the main problem. Yeah, not the main problem. The main problem is their readiness, yeah, in using the technology in the classroom. Yeah, so it needs more motivations for motivating teachers to use the technology in the classrooms. Yeah, so we go to the further implications. Though the teachers have some difficulties, but the teacher professional development
that we promote give a better impact for the teachers. At the time, we have 5,000 teachers joining with this teacher professional development. And the teachers feel that it gives more knowledge about the pedagogy, more knowledge about how to make use of the technology tools, and more knowledge in designing the lesson design for the classroom. Yeah, but it needs such kind of developing both in the how to facilitate our teachers to have a better professional development. First is about the duration of the coaching models, and then also the guidance process. Because this is volunteered mentors, so sometimes it gives another problem between the mentors and the participants. And the design of the online teacher professional development requires a very careful considerations about the task level, the teacher's external barriers, such kind of equipment, time, training materials, and support. Yeah, of course, it needs support not only from the teachers as the participants, but also the stakeholders, and also, if it is possible, from the government. Yeah, because it gives another motivations for the teachers if they have this kind of supporting things from the government. Yeah, so it needs some more motivations in integrating the technology for the teachers. So, yeah. So thank you. I think that we can go to the next having discussions about this kind of model. Thank you. I give it to the time for the moderator. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ibu Nur, for the presentation. It is very interesting. But before we go to discussion with the participant, I am personally interested with your presentation, Ibu Nur, and I have a question. All right. So in step 3 about encouraging in the coaching steps, the consideration is that it is not easy to be done to the teachers, especially if the teachers are from the older generations, which even especially if it is related with the technology. And even though we have in the first step we give them knowledge about how to utilize the tools, but usually they are demotivated due to the flexibility of the technology. How do we do that encouraging?
Yeah. Yeah, the mentors have such kind of initiatives to create such kind of videos for encouraging the teachers.
I see.
Yeah. The other things is they meet the participants in the teacher's lesson time. Yeah. So the coaches here gives a lot of efforts to help teachers moreover in the use of the technology in the classroom. Yeah. Halim. So it doesn't enough. It's only just giving the knowledge, but also we have to guide the teachers in the use of the technology. It is difficult.
Yeah.
But many teachers feel that this kind of coaching model help them to understand better, and also applying the technology tools better in the classroom. Yeah, that's the the stories.
Yes, because that's what happens in the field, Ibu.
I see. That's
Yes,
good.
yes, yes. All right, now time for the participants. There is someone raise hand. Delara Siti, you want to ask questions? Time is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, we can hear your voice clearly.
Okay. I have questions. Is it okay for Miss Dina and Miss Sri Utami?
For Miss Sri Utami, it's okay. And for Miss Dina, she is now having another business. So
Oh,
you can
okay.
ask to three other presenters. Can be Bu
Okay.
Nur, Bu Utami, and also Pak Ibrahim.
Okay. Okay. I would like to give question to Miss Sri Utami regarding to the vocabulary building. Ma'am, you also presented about the learning students learning styles, and my question is, how do you teach vocabulary building for the students who have various or different learning styles in one classroom, in AFL classroom? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question, Ibu Sri Utami. Are you here? Okay, you can turn on your microphone.
Sorry. I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for the questions, Lara. Okay, when I touch my students in vocabulary class, yeah, of course they have various types of learning styles, yeah. And then, yeah, generally I will give different assignments, yeah, for them, yeah. Okay, I will divide in the terms of assignment for the students, yeah. And then in the class, I will use various techniques in teaching vocabularies, yeah, that will cover all types of learners of my students, yeah. There are visual types, audio style, and kinesthetics. Yeah, I combine the techniques, yeah. Is it enough? My answers, Lara?
So, you mean that different students and different tasks? It depends on their learning styles, or same task for a various level of students with learning styles.
Yeah, sometimes I will give them same task for the various learners, yeah, and then the different tasks for group, yes, especially in group of learners. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Lara.
Okay, we still open the Q&A for other participants, but we still, okay, we do have a questions here from the chat box to Ibu Dina Destari. Yes, I'm Rosalind from Universitas Indonesia. I love your presentations. What's your idea about self-evaluation? That's one. Two, relationship between next generation and lifelong learning. And number three, learner autonomy is the same with independent learning. Thanks in advance to Ibu Dina. Maybe Ibu Dina is still here.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay, all right. Budina, you can answer the questions from Rosalind.
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. Rosalind from Universitas Indonesia. I think I prefer to answer for the third one. Yeah, the third one is talking about what is that? Is it independent learning is the same with learner autonomy? Is that right? Yeah. The Abdul Halim. What is the questions? I didn't see the questions.
The question is about what's your idea about self-evaluation, number one, and also,
I mean number three. What is number three?
Number three is life learner autonomy. Is it the same with independent learning?
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you so much. I will start with that. Your last question is my first answers. Sister Rosalind from Universitas Indonesia. I have a few other terms here, which I would say are very much in the same area. And sometimes they have a slightly different meaning, but they're really talking about similar things. So independent learning, Sister Rosalind, independent learning, learner autonomy, I think it's very similar to learner autonomy. Like if you see self-directed learning, self-regulated learning, self-regulations, I think five of them uh, have specific meaning, but they are in the same kind of the area. And these are about encouraging learning to learn. So if you find another phrases talking about learning to learn, it also means independent learning. It's a kind of the process of developing itself. So for your first questions, um, Sister Rosalind, when we teach, for example, when we teach an idiom, you give some example and your students try to notice them. You should love reading the students' comment. Is that right? As a teacher or as a lecturer? As a lecturer, for me, it's not a piece of cake. My students are next generation's learners. I do my utmost to stir the blood, to make someone feel excited. The word that I said to stir the blood is also an idiom. So concisely, I also use idiom within my context of my students by teaching them how to become autonomous learners. So make sure the students are keen to delve deeply into the topic, into the material, into the language that you delivered them. Then you can join or give them a particular clue to establish the outstanding language learning environments. So in addition to that, if we are talking about the goal setting and self-evaluations, in order for students to take charge of their learning, they need to see what the goal is they are striving for. The teacher should help their students to develop goals that are realistic, that are achievable, and of course, measurable. So in my opinion, students may be motivated to work harder if they see that it will be result in achieving the goals. So Sister Rosalind, if the students can evaluate themselves, for me, they will know how they are doing without a sense of embarrassment. Although tests may be used, looking at what the progress the students have achieved is also important. So the students may also have a chance to share their own progress from their perspective with the teacher, from their perspective among them, among the classmates. So that's reflection by students should be encouraged. One of them they can use diary. So the last questions, it is number 2 for you. Talking about the relationships, yeah, net generations. I would like to say that today the net generation is full of freedom of choices to meet their needs, to work, to shop, to learn, to be entertained. Is that right? So in my PPT that I already explained is, if I'm not mistaken, it is from Ted Scott, that it explains the next generations of what we call it as acting of diversity, curious, assertive, and self-reliance. So what we call it, next generations are staunch advocates of lifelong learning because they desire a good education. They believe that access to information and the expressions of opinions are one of the fundamental rights. So next generation understand that they need to update, that they need to maintain their training at the cutting edge to ensure their employability. So that's, of course, it advocates of lifelong learning as a relationship. So the right to privacy and the right to speak out are the that equally important. I hope my answer can broaden your horizons. Thank you so much. Sister Rosalin from Universitas Indonesia, and thank you so much, De Abdul Halim.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Dina, for answering the questions from Rosalind from Universitas Indonesia. All right, we still have one or two more questions to all of the presenters today. Dian Pratama, raise hand to Dian. Yes,
Okay.
please.
Thank you everyone. Good morning. My name is Dian Pramanaputra and I am from PBI FK Punikarta. So I would like to ask to Mr. Ibrahim, since he talked about hybrid educations in this occasions we have like COVID, so everything's shutting down and we have like hybrid class. In here, I would like to ask about what are several tips that you can give for us as maybe as a teacher or for us as a students in the future as a future teacher. Is there any specific tips that you can give for us to have like to engage with our students without beyond the limitations, and what is the most effective way to make hybrid class become a good class for our students? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dian, for the question. I have been met before, I think. Are you in Java right now, right?
I am in ITB right now in Bandung.
Oh, ITB
Yes.
So, to be honest, it's really hard questions. What you ask about the specific tips, how to handle as a teacher to be an effective class in hybrid learning, especially engaging with the students. First of all, as I mentioned earlier, I cannot say that it's from me, but I mentioned it's from the Graham's research. Like it has been mentioned earlier, that the right learning technologies to match the right learning to the right person at the right time. Yes, it is difficult, to be honest, especially the old generations have been mentioned before. But for me, as a good preparations, for example, understanding the technology first, mastering the technology, which is quite really hard, need the workshop and so on. Then later on, then you can engage with the students effectively. And also you have to know the capability of the students, how then they can access to the media you use, and how then you give assess the students using the media or the platform you use. I think that's the preparations and also understanding the media you use, I think the most important thing. That's what I can suggest, Dian.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you. Dian.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Okay, one last question from Putri right now. Putri Mauliana.
Thank you for the time. Can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes, we can hear your voice.
Thank you for the moderator. I want to ask to Mrs. Dina, to Budina, because the idea of Miss Dina is interesting, quite interesting for me. Assalamualaikum, Budina. I'm as a junior high school.
Putri, I'm sorry. Right now, Budina is at the hospital.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. Do you have questions for other presenters?
Maybe I can share my ideas, and
yes, please.
The other speaker will give me some suggestions.
Yep.
All right. Based on the learner autonomy, I'm as a junior high school teacher, English teacher. Nowadays, the government give our trend issues about learning differentiation or pembelajaran diferensiasi. As we know, as a teacher, there are three kinds of way to how to conduct learning differentiation, such as differentiation of product, differentiation of process teaching of learning, and then differences of product of learning. So as we as a teacher, how can we conduct it well? in another way, because as we a teacher in the classroom, we have limited of time. So how we do the effective instruction to do it all, so the student can freely to choose their own learning, so they can do their learner autonomy successfully. Thank you.
Thank you, Putri, for sharing your experience at the junior high school. Yes. All right, about differentiating instruction, which is not very easy in the classroom with so many kinds of students in one classroom. All right, is there any presenters who would like to respond to the questions from Putri or sharing experience? All right. Okay, so there are no response, but we would like to thank you very much, Putri, for sharing your experience as a teacher in the junior high school. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the first event. We would like to thank you very much to all distinguished speakers, especially to Ibu Dr. Nur Arifah Drajati from UNS, and also to Pak Ibrahim from UMKT, to Ibu Sri Utami from Unikarta, and Ibu Dina Destari from UINSI Samarinda. Please give applause to these speakers. All right, thank you very much. And now I would like to give back the hosting to the Masters of Ceremony. Ibu Widya, time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much for moderator. And now, waktu yang ditunggu-tunggu oleh semua orang, yaitu pengumuman door prize. Pengumuman door prize untuk national webinar kita hari ini bisa dibantu oleh komite untuk pengumuman door prize. Nanti akan dimunculkan melalui spin. Ya. Ada atas nama Aris, Suci, Daniel, Rosalin, Dian Pramana, Delara, dan Putri Mauwiliana. Oke, kita spin terlebih dahulu. Oke, congratulations Rosalin untuk door prize national webinar hari ini.
Lagi Kak Bu?
Oke, next. Kita spin lagi. Oke, congrats Daniel. And next. Pemenang door prize hari ini, nanti silahkan untuk menghubungi bagian komite untuk lebih lanjut. Baik, terima kasih banyak atas semua partisipan, kehadiran, dan pertanyaan, serta waktu yang diluangkan untuk mengikuti agenda nasional webinar hari ini. Terima kasih banyak. Sekian, saya akhiri. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dan berikut link absensi bisa ada di layar. Silakan absensi untuk seluruh peserta dan untuk kepada presenter, ke speaker, sudah bisa untuk meninggalkan Zoom pagi hari ini. Terima kasih banyak.
Terima kasih banyak.
Terima kasih banyak Ibu Bapak dan jangan lupa untuk workshop besok di hari Jumat untuk mengikuti agenda workshop selanjutnya.
Terima kasih Bu Widya. Sampai ketemu besok.
Absensi ada di layar. Ibu Martina, Ibu Irma, Yuliani, silakan di barcode ada di layar Zoom. Silakan link absensi di layar Zoom.
Nah, orangnya sudah keluar ini. Tidak ada suaranya. Suaraku masuk.
Link absensi juga sudah tersedia di kolom chat, Pak. Adik-adik semua di kolom chat di dokumnya. Kalau tadi yang tidak bisa barcode di kolom chat.
Saya mau tanya dulu sedikit.
Komunitas Wafi ya. Selamat, Wafi. Mana Musri ini?